Welcome to Munch N Gas podcast. This is episode number
Go on.
5.
You sure?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Is it number 5?
Yes. I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I apologise, but I believe that this is podcast number 5. Here we have my co-host Junior.
Yes.
We also have Henry. I'm not gonna say the full name.
Don't do that.
Bro,
Man said,
Brother.
don't do that.
brother man.
That's
Welcome.
That's brother man.
Welcome. Thank you everyone for joining. This is good to have everyone here. We've got fruit flies.
This little guest is bugging me,
Fruit flies around the place. This is all good.
Mm.
They've come to enjoy. All right, cool. So we're gonna start off with a
Go on.
what should we start off with today?
Go on, do your thing.
The question to unlock things today is guilty pleasure song. Guilty pleasure, a song that you really like that you know you shouldn't like. Who wants to go first? That people wouldn't understand, people wouldn't expect. What is your guilty pleasure
I'll
song?
let you go because I might have to.
I don't know what the song's called yet, but I only like it because of that scene out of what's that film with the Wayans brothers?
Oh snap!
White girls.
Yeah, what was it called? Is it White Chicks?
White chicks, sorry, white girls.
You see the scene with
That's
Terry Crews? No, but the song's called White Chicks. I mean, the film's called White
Oh,
Chicks.
no, right.
But anyway, that scene with Terry Crews.
I don't even remember it, bro. I'll be
But
honest.
yeah, I don't know what that song's called. Whether it's but yeah, that scene made me like the song. But I get that's what it would do.
But you need to know the song, bro. This isn't helping anyone, bro. Unless we Google it.
It sounds. 1 second.
Google it. Junior, what's your guilty pleasure?
Do you know what? It might have to be Florence and the Machine. Something.
Do you know the name of the song?
There's a few, but Shake It Out's a rhythm. Never Let Me Go's a rhythm.
Florence and the Machine.
There's a few, but yeah.
That's not too off centre, to be fair.
I should not like
they're
Florence and the Machine. There's another thing. There's hello.
Sure.
There's Christine and the Queens.
Christine and the Queens.
Yeah.
What are they like?
A French band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, they're the best at what they do, so I vibe with it.
For me, my guilty pleasure song is. I've got a few, to be fair. I do have a few.
I have no doubt.
Why did you have no doubt about?
Zero doubt.
Why do you have zero doubt about me having guilty pleasure songs?
Let's draw for the S Club 7. Go for it.
Oh,
wow.
Go for it.
Wow.
Oh.
S Club 7. Why would it be S Club 7?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure when we were younger, you were into S Club 7 more than I was. Bro.
Or is it actually?
I have no
Is it
idea where
actually
came
because
from.
that is
Where
your
did that
tune?
come from? Do I seem like an S Club 7?
I don't know.
I
bro.
think you are. I
Go
think
on,
you
go on.
were. Anyways, I think you were. Yeah. No, my guilty pleasure, the one that comes to mind is George Michael, Flawless. You lot don't know that song, do you?
I know the Michael. I don't know Florence.
Cause you're beautiful, flawless, absolutely flawless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad tune.
But that's like a proper like
That's a big one.
gay club anthem, bro.
Oh, hello.
That's like
I mean, you have to live
anthem.
your freedom.
let me live, man.
You have to live.
Let me live, bro.
You have to live.
I can't lie, bro. I've got that song on my favourite playlist. It comes on the gym. I'm having it.
There's better
You're
tunes actually.
beautiful.
Now you say George Michael, yeah. I like that Faith tune. I remember Faith. Faith was a good one.
Yeah.
Faith was a good
But
one.
that's not guilty pleasure, bro. Is it?
And then,
Oh, the George Michael faith.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I like that tune.
Yeah, that's
I remember that tune from the youth, man. I found the song. It was 1,000 Miles.
1,000 miles. How does it go?
I can't sing that,
that,
bro.
bro.
What I remember is, and I miss you. Something like that. So, you have to see the scene.
Because I don't know, bro.
Yeah, but it's 1,000
I
Miles
was
by
expecting like
Vanessa
steps.
Carlton.
I was expecting steps or something from you,
Steps.
Man said step.
5, 6,
Listen, I just
7,
like to have
8.
a flashback to Man
All
said.
of them.
I'm at S Club 7 done. That was good. I just want to bring that back.
I think you were. I think I remember you being at S Club 7.
Okay, so yes.
I'm pretty sure you knew all their names, bro. I swear, like I'm not even making this up. Okay, unless I'm getting you confused with someone else.
Tell me how. Paint the scenario for me. I need to know because this is mad. Paint the scenario. Where are we? Know, how old
for some
are we?
Reason,
what conversation are we having?
I think we were like early teens.
This is it.
And I remember you talking about the black dude in Steps. And
what's his name?
Were a fan.
Man said Steps.
Was it
not even S.
Yeah, I think it was
Bradley, innit? It
was Bradley.
Yeah.
Are you serious, man?
I'm pretty sure.
Go into your core. I want you to go into your core and ask Bradley.
I remember you being at S Club 7.
You're mad. And for someone who doesn't do
and because it went from S Club 7, we went from S Club 7 to Cleopatra. I'm pretty sure, bro.
Cleopatra routine.
Yeah, bro. I'm pretty sure I remember that.
No, but there was no.
Because you used to rave about Bradley, bro.
Oh, fuck off. That one, that whole last minute, that's for the files. That's good.
Look,
but yeah,
all fun and games. There's like we this podcast actually was quite. I think this podcast was going to be a special one because of a voice note. I haven't played this to you yet. I haven't even spoke to you about this, but there's a voice note that Henry actually sent me. When did you send me the voice note, bro? A couple of days ago. And it just touched me in certain places, like not like that, please, not like that, please, not like that, just please, chill out. It got to me. It resonated with me. That better, yeah. It resonated with me. It resonated with me because he was talking about dads and being empowered and just staying strong, and like it was a lot. So I want to open the floor to you.
Okay.
To go into that because I could play the voice note, but I'm not sure if that's even relevant. But I think it'd be good since you're here.
I could just address it.
The message and why you have the need to.
Yeah.
Send me that.
We're in a time where a lot of people, it's important of both sexes need to be empowered, right? We've had this obviously independent women and all that stuff before, but sometimes what about the guys? Do you understand? And then I went through altercation with my partner, as it would be, my missus, and it just caused me, and it caused me to reflect on certain things, and I was like, man, we don't get praised enough, you know, and then we put it in. You get me? Because externally, as the vessels we are in this world, even so as black men, it's not easy for us. Do you understand? And we break our backs. And I, at the time, was reflecting on my position because obviously I married a woman who already had children. So I've taken them children as my own, literally. And the selflessness I've had to develop over time has been immense for me. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So when I was there, I was like, nah.
Then you've done bits. So.
Bro. And what happened was at the time, I got into the thing with the missus, as you do with the relationships, and I just went, I needed to have my moment in the car, so I went to go sit in the car, but just vexed.
Bashing up the stairs.
I was vexed. And then, but ironically, at the time, my older cousin sent out on his, I think he said, no, did he send it to me? I saw it on his status on WhatsApp, and it was words of encouragement for fathers directly. And I was like, I needed to hear that. That just calmed everything for me. So it was beautiful. And then I just naturally, because I'm that guy, I like to empower people, I just sent it to every guy, every father I know in my phone book, more or less. Probably, I've got 600 contacts on my phone. I sent probably about to 50, 100 people. I just sent that to them. And if I got a response from you, then we would have, you get me, politics about it. But I sent it to every man, and then added to, I would send a voice note to them and just say, listen, you're appreciated, I love you, keep doing what you're doing, all them things. And then I actually stepped further out of the box and I actually made a video of myself. And this is something I don't do. Made a video of myself, I shot it, and I made a video in a sense of talking directly to whoever I would send it to. And man, just words of encouragement, saying you're doing well, just keep going, and all of those other things, because don't seek validation from anyone, including your missus, bro. You're doing exceptionally well. There's so many friends that I have, and obviously they've gone through certain differences with their baby mothers as it would be and all of them other things. Nah, bro, you're doing very well. Very, very well. I don't ever doubt that. Do you understand? And yeah, man, and the response that I was getting, I won't even lie to you, bro. Some of them brought me to tears, bro, because of what I had gone through at the time, and then at the same time, what people were saying to me. And if we want to go into things like love languages, is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation for certain man them is...
I like this love languages thing.
Bro, words of...
I never heard about it, and then
it's serious.
Over the course of 5 minutes, everyone and their dog was using the term love languages. So it's had incredibly good PR, but yeah, go on anyway.
It's good. It's good, and I think a lot of us with men, our love language is, in that respect, words of affirmation. Because if certain things are spoken into our lives, it does so much for us. And in response to what I did, the responses I got from certain guys from my phone book, who are friends of mine, was it was like, this is beautiful and this should be done more. So then I said to Jeff, bruv, like, if we're doing this thing, this is what we need to talk about today. Amongst anything else, but we need to talk about that because we're in a position where all of us are potentially, or fathers and all of those other things, we can address it from so many different angles.
Yeah, and
so
yeah, thank you for that. And I think it's a good issue because if we take our sort of different sort of vision points, because you're a stepfather, me, I've got girls, and you're a soon to be. So it's like the angles that we can actually approach this from, I think, are very good and slightly different.
Yeah.
For me, once you mentioned that to me, I won't lie, man. I listened to it about 3 times after the first time, because it was just like, I was shocked that, for me, I always get surprised that when people talk about things that I have in my own head as a potential issue or a hurdle, because it brings normality to me, because I actually start to think, oh shit, I'm actually normal, because other people in similar positions are experiencing this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I typically get worked up in certain scenarios, and I think, oh, maybe it's me, maybe I'm just being too needy or too sensitive and stuff like that. So when you actually sent that to me, I was like, yeah, like, damn, I do need this. I do need to hear sometimes that you're a good dad, like everything that you do, or this stuff that you did, or when you do this, or the way that you've looked after the girls, or done this, or struggled to work and bring home the money to do this, and blah blah. Like, bro, like, it meant so much to me just for you saying it, and you don't even know half the stuff that I do.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's why for me it became instantly just like, this is a thing.
It is.
It's a big thing, and I think I can only speak from my perspective, but I think there's scenarios where I don't want to say ungrateful, because that's the wrong word, but I think there can be situations when you can have disagreement, and I don't know what your disagreement was with the missus. I can only speak from my perspective, but I think there can be situations where people get out of character, they get hyped up, and they say the wrong thing, but sometimes sort of start believing a particular narrative when, again, like you said, being a black man, a black parent, on top of that, trying to survive and having to take care of your family, that's a big job, bro, and there's so much pressure, bro. But yeah, I don't know what your take is on that.
Also, let me just try and land for a second in terms of, so what you're saying is how you started your own narrative in terms of the women had their empowerment moment, but you're saying the guys haven't had their empowerment moment, and guys should be appreciated more.
I think there's a bigger focus,
and it should be vocalized more, especially within relationships. Is that the
to some extent? No, yeah, to some extent, because I mean, like I said, I spoke from the perspective. It's almost like me going through what I went through. It put me in a box where it's almost like I had never felt. I felt like it's, but not at this sort of level where it was really, like, really peeing man off. You know what I mean? So it's almost like for my friends who've gone through, whether it's divorces, separation, um, all of these other things, or even going through the hardship as it is, and they're in a nuclear family, but they're going. It's like I felt every man's pain there and then. So it drove me to, like, I need to speak to this guy, this guy, this guy.
Like on a collective basis.
Exactly.
The black male voice within family is not being heard or being appreciated, and you felt like you needed to reach out. And
That's it.
I think there's a bigger focus on, just to jump in. I think there is a bigger focus on women, and I think that there's probably like a bit of bias because it's a woman, and we want to probably as a public, as general people, we cater to want to sort of be there for the woman and make sure that women have rights and we make sure that a woman feels valued in a relationship and X, Y, and Z. And I think in that whole movement, men have sort of been pushed to the back a little bit, and we're seen as strong individuals, and that's just the way it is, and we should do X, Y, and Z. Exactly.
Sorry, this is not even a racial thing. This is men in general.
Okay.
This is men in general. And then I think there's a thing that has been said to me, and I've seen it being said from some. It's almost like, because we're the men, you're supposed to.
So, and I think that's what you're talking about. And I think that's the actual conversation. What the actual conversation is, if you actually deep it, is. So, I don't want to take this too far wide and expansive, but to get to that level of happiness, or to get to some conclusion, you're talking about what now is considered the right role for a man within that family. What should he be praised for? And you're talking about female evolution, you're talking about male evolution, you're talking about the female empowerment movement and Me Too and equality and blah, 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 blah. So we feel like we're doing this, that and the third. If on the flip side, the missus is doing the same and also raising kids, she may not feel like she needs to vocalise to the man that, yeah, you're being amazing, you're doing that, because it's seen as normal. So...
But give me examples of that, bro. Give me an example.
So, for the exact same thing of, and this is me taking a snippet of your potential altercation and trying to think about it from this point of view. Or whatever, just to narrow it down to this example. So, is the male voice within relationship not being heard, appreciated, or is the man not being vocalised enough to say that I'm proud of you, you're doing good, you'll do whatever? But this is the thing. What is that said role? And if you're talking about just generally, men within relationships don't feel appreciated, that might be a problem. The question is, what are you looking to get appreciated for? What is the specific? And if you're just talking about general, yeah, you're amazing, you do this, and that should be a general discourse back and forth between you and your missus and how you talk. If you've got a buoyant, viable relationship and you compliment each other and you encourage each other. But what are you specifically looking for, the pat on the back for, or whatever it is? Because that's what I'd like to know. Or is it just a pat on the back for no reason?
Are you directing this solely?
No, just generally.
In general.
Personally, for me, it's not so much about having like constant positive affirmations. It's more of a case of, okay, in relationships, what I've found is that you have an altercation, and typically the negatives are brought up. And
by both sides or by one side? Let's talk in truth. Let's talk in reality.
In all honesty, it's by both, you know.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Let's not make
100%.
this biased.
Yeah, yeah.
If
No,
we
it's
should-
quite well.
And don't get it twisted. I'm trying to
Yeah,
do
I'm
devil's
not,
advocate.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And,
No,
and
definitely.
I'm not trying to say that I'm an angel or anything, but yeah, like, but negatives are brought up, and it's like, but if you're in a situation where you're not really hearing positives anyway, and then negatives are brought up,
And reinforced.
and then it's like, hold on, what? And then in your mind you're thinking, or in my mind I'm thinking, I did this last weekend. I stayed at work for an extra hour, took on additional responsibilities just to earn X amount so that we could do X, Y, Z. In my mind, I'm thinking, I've come home, I've done that. There's so much that I think that personally, again, I'll speak from my point of view, that I do on a day-to-day basis to be able to provide and obtain things for my family and keep them secure, that nobody sees, that nobody knows. So many things.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is it anyone's job to see it? And is it just a given of what you or the life path you have chosen for yourself, and therefore it's a subsequent of, okay, so I have a kid now, so I have to do X. I have this relationship, so as a bypass of that, I have to do X. So yes, we might be taxed in our daily outgoings of what we have to do, but is that a reflection of what you have in terms of your family connections, your life connections, and where you want to be in terms of a projection of where you want to be in life? Because you could be at yard playing computer every day doing nothing, but you choose to do these things. So, in relation to, and again, it's the praise. And yeah, we have to do these things because we want to do these things. You don't have to. You could be, well, you couldn't be a terrible dad. It's not really an option. But being a good dad is just, isn't that just how it's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be, but
Yeah, there's so much of that.
why? I think it delves down to a lot of things. Yeah. Let's take, for example, even the last time we spoke, and we spoke about our past and how we was perceived in school and stuff, right? And regardless of where it is, these things are gonna.
A lot of healing has been done.
Exactly.
Let me just say, a lot of healing has been done.
Yeah.
It has.
But regardless of what it is, your past is what more or less predicts your future, isn't it? So to some extent, we change over development and growth and all of those other things. But what I went through when I was young is going to cause me to be a certain way when I'm older, right? And
to a certain degree,
to a
it's
certain
going to
degree.
give you a certain
Right.
outlook on certain
Of course,
things.
right? So with certain things, and that's what caused me to realize, even with my character, because like I came to this whole love language thing, and it was interesting because I had a conversation with my sister who knows me like, come on, you know, when it's like, this is my sister after me, out of the siblings that I have.
Your little sisters are annoying.
No, it's not my little sister. This is my sister literally after me.
Okay.
So in the beginning, it was me and her before the youngest came.
Yeah. They're annoying though.
But yeah, and we were talking about what we almost like, what we kind of thrive for in life. And me and my sister obviously similar because of what we went through in growing up. So with that being said, and I came up with this whole witches, and I agreed with her in saying the whole words of affirmation thing. I've noticed I'm the type of person, and it could be different to yourself because there's a certain level of confidence you have where I may not have it, but I may have it in a different area. But then the fact of the matter is I have seen when someone encourages me, Henry, to with certain things, or you give me that sort of praise, bro, it does something to me, bro.
Because
no, everyone likes their
no. Let me explain. Let me explain. Because I may not necessarily think that of myself. When I hear it from someone, I'm like, bro, really? Like, and that's what brought me amongst the pain that I felt, and it was real because when I put out the video, I was basically trying to explain to the man them that received it. I feel your pain too. It's weird, bro. It was almost like a moment where I felt what Jeff was going through. I felt what everyone was going through. Do you understand? Because I understood it now. That was my breaking point. So then, I'm like, bro, but they need to hear this because that's naturally how I am designed. I like to empower people. So I'm going to say this to them and plant the seed that shows, no, my bro, you're doing exceptionally well. Remember that. And don't ever think any less of it.
Yeah, I like to do that thing as well.
Do you understand?
I like that battery in the back conversation.
Yeah.
I do it well.
So with myself, it's almost like sometimes we do things for people that we really want done for ourselves, right? So as I said, when someone was telling me, that's what brought me to tip, bro. Certain man, them were the response. I was crying, bro. But I was crying in the sense of thank you. But I was also crying, bro, because
it was like a real moment.
Because the man, them, I know this is what my brother's feeling over there.
Yeah.
It's mad because I think it's interesting the stance that I guess me and you have a similar stance on this, and your stance is slightly different.
But I'm not over the hill yet.
You're not quite over
maybe
the hill. You haven't experienced. You probably haven't experienced the conversations that we've experienced yet. But your time will come. And then the question I have for you, you don't need to go into detail. You don't need to say anything specific. But have you been told otherwise, that you're not up to par?
Or what, like you're not being a good dad?
Yeah.
No.
Or have you had scenarios where, you know, you've been told that you've messed up or something?
Yeah. So when
you don't need to go into detail.
No, I'm not gonna go into detail. Obviously, I know it's working. Yeah. But when with me, it's almost like, okay, just like, for example, you know when you're putting in this much effort, and I'm trying my best, and I can only give my best. I wish things could be different, but this is how it is, and this is the hand I've been dealt with. But I'm gonna continue to work because naturally I'm a resilient person. So be grateful for that. I'm not a guy who's gonna be sitting there playing PlayStation. I'm not even interested in them things, bro. So I'm doing what I'm doing.
Nothing wrong with playing PlayStation.
There's nothing wrong with it, but then at the same time, it's just I've always said.
Everyone who's got a PlayStation.
I've always said that child in me is dead long time. But anyway, when I'm putting in this much effort, and then you speak of my downfalls, which obviously yes is fact, but when you speak of that, it does something to me, bro. It puts me from here being the king that I am. You're putting me here, bro.
It hurts.
And it cuts deep.
It hurts.
Okay.
It's the reality of life, but it cuts.
Alright, so let me ask you one question.
Go on.
Let me give a different scenario.
Yeah, sounds right.
Relationship now.
Go on.
So you're doing a thing, and your partner is constantly asking you to do this thing. Yeah? And let's take out the bins. Take out the bins, and you take out the bins on a Wednesday. And this is a minor. 1 week goes by, you don't take it out. The yard's stinking. You go away a whole week. 2 weeks, don't take it out. 3 weeks, maybe you might take it out now and again. After 2 months of this, and you know, dashed the bin on your head or tipped it out on you while you're laying in the bed or something like that, and you're like, you know what, that's a bit deep, or
I think it's a bit more than deep.
And that's a mad scenario. But was that just? And you're feeling away now because she said, you know what, you don't know. Let me land. You're not doing what I need you to do in the yard. You're not supporting me. Blah 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 blah. But bro, where are the bins? So if you're feeling away because of that, and that's my point, was it just?
No.
Then that's a thing. Then that's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. With the example you just gave, that's a problem. What gives you the right to come and...
I'm not saying I want to dash a bin.
No,
that's my point.
You've taken it far.
So she was saying that you're not showing up in this aspect of the relationship, or you're not doing this, or you're not putting your weight in this.
Yeah.
Did she have a right to say it, is my point. Because if you didn't have a right to say it, that's a problem. If you did have a right to say it, then that's something that you have to deal with. So that's something that you have to do, and that conversation had to be had. So you feeling bad about it is natural for her saying it, but she had to say it. That's my thing. So if it's warranted, it's warranted. If it's not warranted, then you can't say what you said. Then that's the conversation to have. So you're feeding off the back end of her saying, my guy, do you know what? Fix up in this thing, or you're not doing this enough, and you know what? And then you feeling bad off the back end of it. Everyone's allowed to have their sad moment and then pick themselves up and pull their skirt down and then go do the thing.
I just feel that there's a different way, or a better way.
What, to communicate it?
That people can communicate in relationships.
There's always ways to make things
100%,
palatable.
but we talk so much about love language, we talk so much about positive affirmations, but we don't talk about the power of negative affirmations as well, bro.
No,
so,
that's true. That's true.
for someone to say something that could be quite like impactful in a negative way or quite scathing because they're annoyed or angry relating to you and how you are a father or how you, or because you haven't done a particular aspect of fathering very well in a moment. That then
so
defines...
what is your thing? The delivery. Is your thing the delivery, not what's being said? Because then that's another conversation. So if, like I'm saying, what they're saying is right, then they can make the delivery better and make it palatable. So maybe you can get the arm around the shoulder, and you know what, you can do this and you can do that.
But you know that does a lot, though.
No, it does. It does.
100%.
It does. But
Remember, they naturally used to do
different,
it. Yeah, exactly. They naturally used to do it. This is what is taught to teachers when you're in school. Don't speak to Jamie like that. Speak to him like this.
Yeah, but
Man,
bro, listen,
cool,
we're grown-ups and people
and then,
piss you off.
But hold on, let me say something. Advice that was given to me recently by a friend of mine, probably 10 more years older than me, yeah, said to me, you have to be thick-skinned. And I hear that. But why do I need to be thick-skinned?
Well, you need to be thick-skinned in life.
You need to be thick-skinned. But no. It's a side race. Do you understand? Man said I had to be thick-skinned because of the way women can be with the way they come across. And I'm like,
bro, I've been told that from a team. For every older man that I've met has told me I need to be thick-skinned.
But I wouldn't tell a woman that I knew you need to be. Nah, bro.
I have to jump out because I'm a bit different. So it's
No, and then the thing is, I know certain man them, yeah. That's the thing as well. Like, there's certain guys that I know. Listen, they're not gonna tolerate this. But I'm a different type of brother. This is how Henry is. Do you understand?
No one should tolerate anything they don't deserve.
Of course.
No one.
Of course.
Not talking about.
Of course, but we're
all
all different in temperaments and like everything is different. Do you understand?
Mm.
The way you may deal with something is the way different to how I may deal with something, and vice versa with Jeff. But my point is, as a collective, though, and that's why it spoke. Think about it. I went through a particular thing, but then it resonated for me that this is what men go through. This is what fathers go through. So I'm going to channel this energy that I felt today, the hurt that I felt for you, man. I'm going to share that with you, man, and encourage you, man. But then why then did it lift so many men up?
So, listen, like you lot are saying, maybe I'm on this side of the things. I don't even think I'm disagreeing with you. I just think I'm trying to get an objective viewpoint. But maybe you lot all need to be like, have a group hug and do the thing.
Bro, the thing is, this conversation, I guarantee you, the amount of hits and all of the things it's going to get, because the fact of the matter is...
Because it landed. So you're saying you done the thing and there was loads of hearts coming back. And everyone done the thing, it was beautiful. I hear it. So it landed. So maybe I just, because I'm not there yet. But
maybe,
cool.
but it's real.
Do you know what? I'm just for accountability, and I just like.
So, but the thing is, I could shave that with one scenario, but it's incriminating, and I don't want to.
Yeah, don't.
I don't want to do that. But there have been plenty of scenarios where it's been unjust. The words that have been used and comments that have been used, and this, I don't want to say in a particular situation, but yeah, and then it's a case of I've been left feeling like, wow, like that's deep, like that's deep, like the things that have been said, compared to the potential issue that was on the table, to then what was then thrown at me is like, oh, okay, type of things like, and then the type of comments that make you actually go down and sit down in the corner and think about just
you know what them moments.
Just like think about like, gosh, is this what it is? And you actually think about stuff and like, it starts to play in your mind.
Yeah. So
then when you like send me like that message, Jesus, I was just like, and it's not even like it's a recent thing. I'm talking about things that have happened like over years.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to get a message like that and be like, to know that other people are going over, other men experience this stuff, and that the fact that you're like reaching out to say, you know what, no, you are doing good. You are. I was like, Jesus, thank you.
Everyone likes to pick me up every now and again. I get it. It's nice. It's nice.
And it's not that I'm saying that women need to be picking up men all the time. That's not what I'm saying. And to be fair, it does need to be two-way. That's how the relationship is.
It's supposed to be reciprocal,
it's supposed
bro.
to be.
Come on.
And I don't think there's enough positive. And there's some people that are naturally glass half empty. Like they're just naturally like that. Just that's how they talk, that's how they communicate. Glass half empty. And that in itself is a problem. That's a major problem. So, and it's hard to find people that are just glass half full and consistent with it as well. So,
yeah, my thing is, I'm just one for accountability.
I hear that, and then at the same time, right, we could take it on another side, right? If you look at young men today, right, and these young men are going to become the fathers of the future, yeah. Because there's a certain level of communication that hasn't been spoken into the lives of these young men, right? This could be the reasons as to why society has gone down the road it is for all races. This is not a black thing. This is for men, right? Now, as it is, it's almost like, and like I said, something happened when this independent woman thing came about. Cool. That's another topic for discussion.
It's started when they burn their bras.
Yeah. Something happened, didn't it? Cool. But man them.
I'm a feminist, by the way.
man them, look, it hasn't stopped. Man them put in work, bro. I've heard from stories, whether it's my father, my uncles, father-in-laws, all of this. I know what they put in, you get me? And it hasn't changed. I'm here today and I'm putting in. But it's almost like I'm putting in, but what? You know what I'm saying? And then, sorry, going back to the point of these are the things that need to be done. So what I did as an example the other day was what men need in order to be also empowered. So it's almost like then, whether it's the Dwaynes, the Jasons, the Davids, the Steves, whoever, in time to come, they will be in a better position as fathers than we were, because they're getting the words of affirmation, whatever.
Yeah,
else.
I think that's important as
it's
well.
very important.
That's my stance.
It's very important.
And I don't think today is the episode that we go into childhood and all that sort of stuff. But there's different degrees of trauma and that sort of stuff, and everyone's upbringing is different. But mine by no means was a good one. So I think you get to a certain age in your life, and it comes with everything, and you decide or you don't decide. Are you going to continue the cycle, or are you going to break the cycle? And for me, myself, determined from a long while ago, after I started to do a little bit of self-healing, the journey, all that sort of stuff, there's nothing that's going to stop me from being the exact opposite of the dad that I had. And that is doing everything under the sun. And I think maybe because I am here and I'm speaking from a place of, it's like an idealistic viewpoint, because I'm looking at a vision rather than a reality. I don't know whether I'm going to need a pat on the back. I'm just going to know what my experience was and make sure that my youth has nothing like it. Wherever I've got to do whatever, okay, because that's the outcome. And I don't think it's, like I say, everyone likes a pat on the back and to show that what they're doing is appreciated.
Praise is
and
important.
Being appreciated.
It's important.
And I get that. And I'm
it's
saying,
very important.
But for me, that's not as important as the end goal. And in terms of everything that I'm doing, the man hours, the blood, sweat, the tears, the blah, 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 is the fertilization for this youth to grow into what they, and the end goal is how they grow up as a grown up. And that's the pat on the back.
I think you will need. I think you will need think you all need it. I think.
Well, like I'm saying,
what
I've got a very idealistic viewpoint at the moment.
What will happen?
I like
I
visions.
think what will happen is
Mhm.
things will progress. Obviously,
Mhm.
the baby will arrive.
Mhm.
You will have a highly charged emotional missus in the household. You will be up at ridiculous hours of the night, changing nappies, doing feeds. You will obviously be going to work or working, doing whatever you need to like bring the money in and provide for the family. As soon as you step in through the door, she's gonna need relief from Baba. You're gonna have to be there. This is gonna carry on. You're not going to, and I'm speaking from experience, bro. There's going to be little to no sleep for you, especially in the first 6 months. So I'm just trying to set the picture.
You know how mad it is. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, cool. And I'm not. Like, you have to. Like, I'm not trying to put it down on it. I'm just trying to set the scenario.
But not saying no one's looking forward to sleepless nights, but
no, it's going to change the world.
It's not perturbing me in any sort of way. It's not putting me off in any sort of way.
No.
Like it's calm.
Having a baby.
Because what's reality right now?
No.
Reality is me setting up and launching 2-3 companies. How much sleep am I getting?
Yeah, 100%.
But it's all for
100%.
end. So
But
that's just a
But what I'm trying to say is that you're going to go through this, and this is going to be a routine, day in, day out. There's not going to be any respite. And what happens to you when you guys get lack of sleep and you have to do this, and like you don't have a choice. This is your baby, and yes, you love the baby, and it's changed your world for the positive. But then you have friction days. You have days where you have altercations, and things will be said when people are in like lack of sleep, emotional states.
Yeah, because that's life.
And then 100%. And then what will happen is certain things will be said, and you'll start getting to the point thinking, I've been doing this, I've done that, I've been helping out, and blah, blah, blah. And this will be stuff that'll be in your head. Do you know what I mean? And yes, it's stuff that you 100% need to do. And then all it will take is like one message, for example, like the one Henry sent, to then you won't even know that you needed to hear that, bruv. You won't even know it, and I know you. Like, you'll just be doing your thing, like, and you won't even call me to talk about it. You'll be like, yeah, things are good, man. The baby's you know how things are normal. Like, you won't even talk about any potential issues. But then that one message will like touch you, and you'll be like,
this is beautiful right now.
It'll be like,
what's going on is because it's stages. I'm seeing it.
Like that, and that's what it was. That's what it was for me. It's like
stages.
I realized, like, gosh, like,
Stages.
not only did I need that, I didn't really know I needed it, and plus I didn't realize that other people were going through it.
If I could just say, we'll play at then.
Yeah, 100%. I'll chuck it in there. I'll chuck it in there.
But yeah, go.
But that's what I'm saying. It will, like, you won't know that you need it, and then you'll get a message like that and think, oh my god, yeah, like, and it will feel good. Reading that message alone will feel good for a number of reasons.
I've said for a couple of times now, everyone likes a pat on the back.
It's not just a pat on the back.
It's more, bro.
It's more than that, man.
This thing, it brings life,
bro.
No, I understand that as well. I understand that charge up conversation.
It brings life
because you'll be doing that. You'll be doing that for your missus. And I know, like, you'll be there for her. You'll be motivating her. You'll be her rock. You'll be telling her how well she's doing. You'll be hugging her. You'll be holding her when she's crying, when she's upset. You'll be doing those things, and that's expected of men. That is it. And I'm not saying that she's not going to give you the motivations or give you positive affirmation, because I know your missus as well, and she will. But there will be times, a lot of times, where it's not even known that it's needed or anything like that, and the focus just needs to be on her.
100%.
So when we do get that positive affirmation, like, I can't lie, man, like, we're humans, man. We need that stuff. We need that as well.
I get it.
We need it.
I get it. And like I'm saying,
and it makes a big difference to certain people. Everyone's different. Like, take me for example, like football. Like I was listening to one thing on radio today, and one guy was talking about his football career and how every club that he played at, was because the manager believed in him and put his arm around his shoulder and gave him. And then I started thinking about me. I was like, oh my God. Every club that I played at as well, where I did really well, I had a manager that I was his golden boy. He put his arm around me, he talked to me, he'd tell me everything. He was like, I was his go-to. I performed, scored tons of goals, done really well. And then all the clubs where I didn't do too well, the manager didn't really, he wasn't, he liked me, but wasn't sure. Do you know what I mean? And that I realised that that's how I am in life. Like, you put your arm around me, and you cuddle me, you tell me that I'm better looking than Tyrese, and you know what I mean?
Validation.
Do you know what I mean?
And no, we don't need to focus on that. It's go. Go.
You know, you're a good dude, and that you're warm and loving. It's like you can do things, you can achieve, and it's like you will get the best out of me. You will get more out of me.
Of course.
Obviously, I'm no angel, like no one is, but yeah, that's how.
It's a lot, bro. It's a lot. And as I said, like with yourself, like there's I think because of your journey in life, there's a level of confidence, and I admire it actually. There's a level of confidence that you have. You understand? Also from the environment that you've grown up in and all them things. And I remember mentioning myself because I'm from the same environment. But when I got moved from that environment, I changed. Understand? And I grew up on my own. As in that environment, it's almost like you had to be a certain way to understand, to be able to get through certain things and stuff. Yeah. But what I was gonna say is good, but then everyone's journey has been patterned a certain way, and with that being even said, I've always said to myself, like, even if we look at things musically, I believe if I was just to even just go off tangent a bit, if I still lived in the community that we all once grew up in, bro, the things that I'll be doing on the positive side, not the negative side, the things I'll be doing on the positive side, I think I'll be ahead in certain things only because of the community I was in and the competition amongst many other things. But because I've grown up obviously in the suburbs as it is by myself and stuff, I've really had to grow. But it's good. And even with our positions as fathers, do you understand? Like, I jumped in the deep end straight away. But it has taught me an immense amount. So even when my child does come, my own biological child does come, it's going to be a beautiful experience for me. Because I've learned so much in such a short space of time. And yeah, from the angle, I like even the angle you're talking from, because it's true. I was thinking, right, it's true. The reason why you're talking like this because you haven't been there yet, and then remember, Jeff's been there twice. So he knows where it is. You understand? And even the angle he's talking from, I haven't even been there yet. But I'm going to see it from so many angles. I'm like, bro. Because remember, I've spoken to elders them, and they've told me, man, never tell me, you'll see how, like, uncles never tell me, you see how women are.
Careful for them speeches from uncles, you know. They all view life.
Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. But that's his perception. But I know how Henry is in it, and I believe in what I mean in it, and I love my.
And I think that's another thing. That's in terms of me having the viewpoint that I have. I am very much me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even. So you're talking about growing up and then having to move out, but you can ask Jeff or P when next time you see him. So my thing was, I grew up in Totty, but then we moved out to Palmer's Green and then moved out to Kilburn. But I started in Hackney, so I started out from Bad Breed Central, then went to Totty, and then when I went to Palmer's Green, it's like the other road, and then there's Emma. So I'm still in Emma with these ones. But me as a person, I'm always missing. So something could be going on with these though, and I'm looking around, I get a little bit angsty. I'm like, you know what? I'm going here. So then I'll park off with the Hackney man, or South man, or whatever. And I'll just go on missions and visions. A lot of the time doing badness. Majority of the time doing other stuff. But I had to spend a lot of time by myself because of upbringing. So Jeff will tell you, me growing up, I was always part of a duo. I always had to be part of me and someone else, and me and someone else, and me and someone. Until I understood why, then I understood I just have to spend time with myself. So I like that. But I'm a person that goes on a lot of journeys anyway. I get into a lot of rabbit holes. I do a lot of research. I like knowledge. I'm a misogynist. So with that comes a lot of, I've just got a lot of firm opinions about things, and I pattern my life a certain way. And like you guys are saying, reality will be the best test of time, and I'll know when I know because I'm there. But I just I see what I see because I am who I am, and that's the way that I pattern. And because I pattern like that, things generally tend to go the way I think. Do you know what I'm saying?
I can't.
I mean, that's about it, mate. So to keep it 100.
Can I pause it there because I need to use the restroom?
Yeah, I think
we're done with that topic. Yeah,
I think we spoke a lot about that topic. To be fair, I think it's good, but something that's actually linked to that is obviously, so like your stepdad. So you got with your missus, and she had kids already. I got my own kids and whatnot. You're, like I said, you're about to join us. Question is, how do you guys feel, or how did you feel 5, 6, 8 years ago about dating someone who had kids?
Don't do this to me, my God.
I think
Don't make me look like a bad person.
I think it's interesting to talk about because I think I've had a few conversations.
Okay, well, I'm a transparent guy, so I'll say what it is.
Yeah, I've had a few conversations recently. And again, I won't say too much, but where it's looked on quite negatively that you've got kids when it comes to the whole dating scenario. When I was younger, if I'm completely honest, I wasn't really on dating someone that had kids or had a child. But I won't lie to you, I'm the type of person where if I met someone and we got on and it was just like it was what I needed, then I would have entertained it. I would have. But I'll be honest, I wasn't. If I found out someone had kids, I wouldn't automatically think, But I would have entertained it, but it would have taken a lot for me to entertain it, basically. But where do you guys sit on this whole narrative?
I don't think I can do it.
Well, maybe I might say some things and you might get drawn into it. Anyway. With me, innit, like I could go into my own story of how I met my wife and whatnot. But to be honest, I'll be honest with you. Listen, I was always a guy who would have said I wouldn't get with a woman that had children simply because I didn't want to deal with the complications. All of the I just thought it's long, and that's what I saw from the forefront. It's long. But interestingly enough, when I met my wife, though, she had a system already set in place. So then when I met her,
what do you mean by system?
When I say no, as in with the children's father and whatnot.
I understand.
And then it caused me to realize, like, I'm not gonna have no passion with my man.
Bro, what you call it?
No. Let me elaborate.
Oh, bro.
Remember, it's a system.
Boy.
It's a system.
So it's basically
No. But
Don't.
No, hold on. It wasn't on that. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish anyway. No.
You're a bad person.
No, listen.
Okay,
No, when I met her anyway, the first off, I thought she's beautiful.
It's always a good start.
Beautiful. I enjoyed our conversation, all those other things. And I remember leaving and thinking, why?
Why does she have to have kids?
Why she got kids? I remember. But then as time progressed, I'm thinking, no, she's actually a phenomenal woman.
Can't let her go, right?
can't let that go. And then what had happened was, even in meeting the children and stuff, I just got to see how her lifestyle was and all of those things. And that's what I mean by the system she had in place as being a single parent mother at the time, because she wasn't with the children for a while. And with that, it caused me to, over time, realize if I was with her, it could actually work in so many ways, in shapes and forms. So then, as time progressed, obviously time reveals a lot of things. And then I was like, this could actually work. Do you understand? Amongst many other things, and as it is too. You get me? You get me? Like, I've been with her for 4 years now. Married 2 years. So yeah, bro, it is where we are now, bro. So yeah, man. But yeah, she was definitely special. So
but that's sort of similar to me, but I didn't meet anyone that had kids. Junior. It's a podcast.
Do it, bro.
Talk, bro.
Do it, bro.
Talk.
Say it, man.
Yeah, this is.
Say it with your chest.
Don't worry about the haters.
It's not even about haters, with boy. Yeah, it's a bit charged this one, isn't it?
Bro, say it.
It's a little bit charged this one.
Got you.
Yeah, listen. Obviously, growing up when you're a youth, your stance is, I don't. Okay, let's just say this. It changes from, and the mind state of a youth being, I don't want anything that's been ran through before.
Oh, bro. That's a whole podcast.
Yeah, go on.
So let's just go on to evolution
Jeez.
2.
Go on.
I'm not sure I can deal with the complications. I don't want to add the complications with life and in the relationship.
Yeah, go on.
To
where I was.
Maybe that not being part of my life plan. To, it's not just convenient. It's not what I can. It's not the easiest way that we can do this. Yeah, all of those things come back. Saying that was obviously the initial standpoint or initial, but yeah, things don't always pan out that way. It wouldn't be my preferred thing. Let's just say. Okay. I've been in a few situations where partners have had kids. If I'm being 100% honest, was that a catalyst for why the relationship never progressed? Maybe. I've always had like I'm saying, I'm a vision person, so I've always had a certain way of how I see the future, and I try and make that picture come to life. That's my sort of thing. So if the current scenario doesn't align with that picture or vision, it might be a stopgap, but I might not stay there for too long, sort of thing. But yeah, and even in saying that, saying too much. But yeah, I would just like the family dynamic, how I see it in my head, and that was never part of my vision. I think is the easiest way I can say that and keep it PC and not do anything untoward.
So was that your vision? Well, that was your thought
Did I
process.
just say that's it and you're trying to draw me out some more? Is that what's happening right now? Is that what actually doing?
Oh man!
It's a podcast. We talk, bruv. We talk on the podcast, bruv. I ask questions.
Go on with your questions. Go on.
So that's how you felt back in the day. Do you still feel that way? Let's say we were all single now. Let's just pretend. And we met someone that had kids, but they were a vibe. Good energy.
Okay, you're talking about a vibe. Alright, what's a vibe?
Good energy.
It's not a vibe.
Bro, come on, man. You know what?
It can't be a vibe. A vibe is whatever.
The energy is correct.
No, alright, no. Say that. Saying that. Because it would have to be. It would have to be. It can't be a vibe.
Okay.
It has to be everything.
Okay.
And unless it's everything, unless it's slow motion, unless it's oh my, it'd have to be.
Alright, let's focus on the words. Exactly. Let's focus on the words energy and correct. And then correct. Energy correct. Go on.
You met a woman who was everything you expected in a woman, but she had a child. What are you
Right now.
Bro,
What, right now? Is that what you're asking me? I'm doing nothing because I'm parked off. I'm calm.
You're all single.
In this scenario, when
Clean slate, nothing, no history of any woman, nothing. Just met someone.
Then who knows? In a hypothetical scenario, who fucking knows? God knows. But I'm saying,
would you entertain it, bro? I'm not telling you to tell the life story. You're going to get
I
married
would potentially
or
entertain it because depending on how powerful she was, that will determine how far things go. And listen, but like I'm saying, I would entertain it. I wouldn't be like, do you know what, you got you, so we're not going to do a thing.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the thing. So the question is, would that thing end up a thing? That's the question.
Answer the question.
I couldn't tell you because she'd have to be. Yeah.
No, say this. Finish the sentence.
She would have to be everything and more. Yeah, because
that's a high bar, man, for you, bro.
But he's just telling you what it is.
It's my reality.
No, it's just.
And
that's
fine.
He's telling you what it is in regards to.
But I know his bar.
Okay.
Okay.
Man said it like it.
I mean, listen.
It was in the stars, fam.
No, it is what it is, my guy. It is what it is, and I think everyone should live their reality, live their truth.
What about you, bro?
Yeah, if I was in that position, as I have been in that position,
so your stance wouldn't change. It'd still be like,
no, because the thing is, when I obviously
your stance has changed.
No, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed at all. I'm happy with where I am. And I'm happy with where I am. But what I would have appreciated was the right sort of advice from certain people. Because the thing is, it's like even me now, if I met someone who was gonna be with someone that had children, I would say, okay, cool, but make sure you check this and check this and check this. Do you understand? Because the fact of the matter is it is not going to be easy.
No, of course.
You get me? And because I've experienced it, that's the type of
bro. And then of course, and in my head, I didn't want to say this.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, I just keep getting a flashy. You're not my daddy. I just keep getting
right. Let me touch on that.
And this, let
me touch on that even. Let me touch on that. It hasn't happened, and God forbid if it does happen. My little are very young, under ages of 10, so they're still very young. I met them when they were very young, right? So there's still that time span to really grow with them. Do you understand? For them to get used to me in that sense, and I think we very much are. Even me myself, I would say my family. When I introduce them to people, I say my children. Just the thing. If we want to go into the logistics of it, you get me as it is, then I will break it down for you. But I just say that's my youth. Do you understand? That's what it is. You don't need to know all of that. But what is it? As we've progressed and stuff, but then deep down in me, if that day ever comes and they came like that, that's totally fine. Do you understand? Because I've had conversations with people that have said if it go down, it's almost like so I've been prepared.
It will spin me.
No, if it happens, it happens. Do you understand? Because that's reality and that's life. Do you understand? That's life. But by that time, by God's grace, innit, I'm in a position where I have my own.
That's when it will end. Sorry, to take it back to
you.
So in terms of the appreciation, now imagine that scenario, and you put in 10, and it's not. And I understand, and I really understand, and this is why you can't go into too deep into the thing because this is people's real lives, and there's a lot of people that are living these real life scenarios, so I can't be flippant with my words. So I need to pattern it properly and not be offensive. But you put in 10 years.
I know.
No, you don't know.
He does know, bro. I've met.
If anybody knows, he knows.
I know this. He's the one that touches the table that knows.
Fine. He knows, isn't it?
Go on.
So you've put in 10 years of graft. You've put in 10 years of trying to create the perfect scenario. 10 years of coming out of pocket. 10 years of selflessness, of creating memories and anniversaries and magic moments and beautiful things and blah blah blah. For turn around at early teen stage and I will be spun, and that would hurt. Not from my partner, because my projection of myself is a certain thing, so I'm not needing it from there so much. But me feeling like that, and that to come back, that would hurt.
Is that
would
so?
hurt.
You're saying is that one of your other reasons as to why you're sort
Well,
of
no, I haven't really thought about that
Yeah.
until right this
But
second.
exactly, but then that shows you deep down. It's almost, I feel that's the level of the reality for Junior. That's why he wouldn't get into that, because certain people, it's almost like, when don't go out there, because if you go out there you're gonna get cut, like you're gonna get hurt, bro. But man knows if I go out there I'm gonna get hurt, so I'm not going down there. That's it. It's that simple. I'm not going there. So it's that level of fear and knowing this potentially could be the outcome. You understand? But then there's
I like it. The only problem I don't like is you use the word fear in your
I'm sorry. No, but this is the
you might be right, my
but
guy.
this is the reality.
You might be right.
And then there was something, for example, I recently wanted to do with the family setting, and then my wife's cousin said to me, fearless. And I guess maybe that's who I am. That I would be with a woman who has children. Do you understand? I have that level of fearlessness, and I would just go. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I remember the advice that was given me prior to getting with her, but I still went with what I believe.
Do you know what? That's the thing that sort of resonates with me actually, because even like back in the day, if I was like, and when I say if I met someone, I wouldn't be on it straight away. But if I got to know the woman and like she was a vibe.
The energy was
The
right.
energy.
It's calm.
Then like that's the stance I would take in my mind. I'd be like, like F everything, F everyone else who has an opinion on this or where it could lead. But that's how I am. I think about my longevity in terms of happiness.
That's what it is. It's not about
And then
anyone
I
else's
go
opinion.
Of course.
It's about.
But a lot of people don't make that decision.
Yeah, of course.
Because of others, bruv.
It's true.
Because they care about what other people think.
Well, hopefully, we're not bringing those people into the equation.
No,
And
we
they're
have to,
irrelevant
bruv. Like, this is a
because they're
podcast.
Some
We
people
talk
are like
about it,
that.
bruv. Loads of people.
Well,
are
a
like
lot
that.
of people are like
Loads of people.
Bro,
are like
and
that,
it was happy for me to know, and that's what I realized about myself as well. But no, I knew about that myself anyway, but that was more so obviously at an older stage. I'm like, bruv, I'm actually a person, even though I maybe me and all of these maybe certain insecurities that I may have had when I was young and stuff, I've always still been a guy that I'll do me. No one can tell me what to do. My parents knew that about me from young.
I resonate with that a lot.
I will do me. You can be my mum and my dad, bruv. Like, I hear it and I will take heed of it because there's a respect. I've grown with that. But I still would do what Henry wants to do. Only because I also feel that is the way I will learn. Do you understand? So if I do that and I go and get cut, cool, that's me, innit? And I will take the responsibility of that and keep it moving. Do you understand? But that was what I chose to do. But then I'm also a person who believes that certain things are most certainly possible. So I don't have to be one of them people. Not like I'm trying to prove the world wrong. But then at the same time, just because obviously she's got children and thing, what? Who's to say it can't work? Of course it can work.
It could.
Of course it can work. So,
of course, anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Everything is possible.
Come on.
I guess it just depends on what vision you have for your life.
You get me? So yeah.
And if that's part of your vision and you're calm with that, then that can be a beautiful thing. And there's no one vision that is right or wrong. It's just what you align with.
The trust me when I say this, the challenges are great.
But if the end goal, if happiness is there to grasp and take, then why would you not take that chance? That's the one thing that my mind boggles about these people that actually care so much about what other people think, and they don't take that. You've met someone that potentially can make you happy, but you won't go for it because you're worried about society or your friends or your social standing and stuff. That's where your fault is, and that's another thing. Again, come back to social media and stuff like that. It's just like,
yeah, I think that's
and then sorry, he's made me remember what I was gonna say now. This is the actual thing as well. I've done the thing of being with certain individuals, women, and they were single. They had no children, all of that. And it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I did the thing when it was from my people, them. You get me? There was my stem.
Hey, stop this whole thing. Stop this whole thing.
No, bro.
Yeah,
But look, let the juice talk.
You dated in your community?
I dated within my community, bro. And I remember said that to my...
That's why you sit there.
Said that to my guy.
Well done, that's good.
Said that to my guys, Jacob's blood. Because, man, we talk about them. The Ghanaian community. I love them still. I love the Ghanaian community. But I dated within my community, bro. And I personally, but that's another topic of discussion. But it was a headache. I love my women, but it was a headache.
Yeah.
And I don't care, I'll say it, bro. It was headache, fam.
They're gonna come for you.
Oh, bro. But I love you, lot, because you like my sisters, them, and all of them
yes,
other things.
You have to say that.
But
at the front and
relationship-wise-
at the end.
But relationship-wise, I don't know. But maybe it was because of, do you understand? Remember, it's a generational thing. It's various things. Because women of today are different from our mothers and them. Like, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a different type of woman. But anyway, so, but then I went out of the community and went to the Caribbean. And,
Spiced up your life.
bro! And it's the what do you call it? The island of spice. You get me? And, bro, it was like, I was like, this is, I could,
You landed.
bro, I'm like, I could do this, you know. You get me? I could do this, and this is where I
And,
am.
and you did it.
You get me? And I could do this, and I'm happy. I'm good. Amongst no overall with all the dramas and that, I'm happy, bro. You get me? I have an exceptional woman, and she keeps me on my toes, definitely.
It's a blessing.
Added to the children and stuff like that, so
It's
it's
a
good,
blessing.
man.
It's a
It's good.
blessing.
So I'm happy, and I just keep it moving, bro. You get me?
Yeah, it's a blessing because you need that support.
Mm-hmm.
You need that support, and that's another thing that, in terms of going back to a point that you touched on before, I think within our community, is it our community or our demographic? What's the best? One of them.
Black community.
I don't know.
Nigerian
I'm not sure I want to
community.
generalize. I'm just talking. Maybe it's
African.
it's an age group thing, and maybe it's a demographic thing.
It could be.
In terms of,
yeah.
but it's also a cultural thing as well. Because where you see, and I don't want to go in like the stereotypes because it does still happen within our community, but in other cultures, it's a big thing to have that base and that setup because you know what you can build from it. But somehow within our culture, should I say, it's common to be about and not have a base and just be doing the thing here, there, and have maybe have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and however, and just be doing your thing. But when you actually understand what can happen when you have a base, and you can have that juxtaposition and the other person there to build a foundation and build with, that's something that's important in almost every single other culture apart from ours. And it's hurting us. Majorly hurting us. So, like I'm saying, in my perfect oil painting scenario of how I want to pattern myself, but exactly the same way in your scenario, as long as the end goal is something that works, that's the thing. And if it works, it works. And whatever my projection is, whatever his projection is, whatever anyone, it doesn't matter because you know you're living your truth and you're happy. And everyone else, because it doesn't matter, man, 9 out of 10 people, there's a lot of people that are not living their truth, and they're not happy, regardless of their scenario, regardless of how much money they have, regardless of bang, 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 bang. Are you happy? And if that is happiness for you, you've won. Cheat code. Absolutely. But yeah. I thought that was a nice point, like I mentioned.
That was good.
Yeah, I do agree. I think
Do you concur?
I concur. Probably a good way to end it, to be honest, because we're coming up to an hour and a half. Don't really talking. Unless you
But just on this, there's so many different things we touched on that can be whole episodes.
oh God, so many things.
Because just talking about childhood and how you how you pattern the rest of your life and how you, because like you said, I don't necessarily believe in that thing of where you've come from dictates your future, or even not even where you come from dictates your future. Your life experiences dictate your future. I think it gives you a certain way you see something, or a certain way you see life, or your viewpoint, or your stance, or whatever it is. But I think it's everyone's responsibility to pattern up. And if you grew up in Totty, or you grew up in Hackney, or you grew up in Lewisham, or you grew up in Bow, or you grew up in Glasgow, or you grew up in a slum in Liverpool, and it wasn't the best base. Yeah, do you know what? Some people that grew up in Kosovo, and saw their parents getting bombed in front of them. They patterned. Sweden. I think there's a lot of that as well. So, yeah, man. And I think we can be a bit soft on ourselves, because there's people that have come from hardship, different level, and that's why I'm like, do you know what? My childhood or whatever wasn't great.
Soft. I don't think it's the right.
I don't know. I think everyone's a bit soft in this. I think it's 2020. Everyone's losing their mind. And don't get me on a rant. We want to end it. Don't start me ranting, because I'll start a rant.
I think people can be quite hard on themselves.
No, I think. Do you know what? I think
And then
our
that
parents'
gives them
generation.
that result.
Maybe it's my stuff. I might be completely wrong. I'll put a disclaimer up now. But it's my humble opinion, that our parents' generation, warriors, grafters.
Come on.
And don't get me twisted in terms of what you were saying on the last time we bucked up and we're talking about the next generation being fearless and them doing the thing. That's a different sort of thing. But I'm talking about our parents' generation, grafters, fearless. They actually went through stuff.
Come on.
Yeah, they went through a whole bunch of stuff just to keep going and get nothing for it. I think today, and it's different. And I'm not saying that everyone goes through the same. I'm not saying that everyone goes through the same reality and everyone's struggles are equidistant. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying everyone has the same level of struggle and blah blah blah. What I'm saying is today, everyone and their dog can't go 2.5 sentences without saying I've anxiety. And everyone's in a pigeon box and blah 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 blah. When our parents' generation, they just got on with things and patterned. And I'm not saying that they in the outcome.
What did that do for our psyche, bro?
For whose psyche?
For us, the children's psyche.
I don't know.
Our old school parents and the way that we were brought up.
Because my mum
please answer that.
No, I'm going to give you a direct answer. I may not be the best person to give you the correct answer for that question, but from my perspective, my mum is an angel, God sent.
Yeah, 100%.
Every single cell in her body is divine.
Yeah.
My dad can't say the same.
Yeah.
Same here.
But listen, he had his own. I don't really know whether it was. Listen, he had his demons that he never got over, and because he never got over his demons, it filtered out into the way that he patterned in life.
I don't even. Yeah.
So the way he patterned in life is the way he fathered and the way he was a husband and blah 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 blah
demons,
blah.
But
he just never dealt with his stuff.
Yeah, but it's demons. But it's also because he was brought up by warriors that were brought up by warriors that were brought up by warriors that lived and raised their children a particular way. Yeah, but come on.
But I think it's different. So when you're talking about our generation of parents, yeah. So you have to understand, and this is another thing I thought about as well. So they grew up in a certain place, yeah, where everything is normal, and you have culture going back 10,000 years, yeah. So the guys in said culture know how to pattern, and the women in said scenario know how to become accustomed. Think about culture. Think about your upbringing. Think about what you see your parents doing. Think about what you perceive as normal. Then you come to this country where your African wife, who has come from the village, is now sitting next to Sarah Jenkins with her Michael Kors bag and wants that sort of life. The scenario is different because the culture is different. You're wanting your very Nigerian wife to behave like she was in the village when she's not in the village anymore and she's in this place. If you as a man cannot adapt and know how to pattern yourself and go from one mind state to a new mind state and become accustomed to your surroundings and know how to live life, you're going to fail. So again, if you don't overcome and you don't pattern yourself and you don't get over your own personal demons, but again, you can't be too harsh in that, because that was the change generation. And we had a lot of men that came over to this country with their wives, and it's a new thing. We know who we are. We're Nigerian. We're very proud. We're very headstrong. We're stubborn. We want to be catered to. We are who we are. We're going to say we come from a line of kings. Blah, blah. So, my point is, if you're expecting a certain thing,